Good morning. It's a nice morning out here. I'm Mark. This is Spiguyver Backpacking. I stayed out here in my backyard last night to test out a few pieces of gear, some of the newer stuff that I've got. First, the obvious one that I'm laying in is this new hammock. So this is the Dutchware Gear Half-wit, but this one is in the 1.0 Hexon. You guys have seen my review of the 1.6 Hexon Half-wit, which I really enjoy. But I saw the opportunity to trade. I had tried out or really felt Beekeeper's 1.0 Half-wit while we were on the Foothills Trail, and I thought that it was a really nice feel of the fabric. And then just that lighter weight, I think it saves 3 to 4 ounces over the body of the hammock. And as I continue to try and go lighter and lighter, just seemed like I'm light enough. I'm not heavy enough that this can't work for me. It's a weight limit of 250 pounds, so I'm well within that. And so, what the heck? I decided to reach out to, found a guy on Facebook willing to trade with me. His name's Steve. So we made the trade. And last night was my first night sleeping in it. I lounged in it. I got it Thursday afternoon. Last night, Friday night, decided to bring it out here in the backyard and give it a shot. And it's got a little bit more give than the 1.6, but I really do like it. And it is a much softer, to me, it's a much softer feel than the 1.6 was. But I also came out here to test out what you can see through here, which is my new Loco Libre. It is the Operator Series Habanero 50 degree. Now, I've got my Operator Series right here, my top quilt. You see the 50 degree Loco Libre Operator Series top quilt. So I used that last night. It got down to the low 60s. So not really a hard test of this thing, but a good chance to get out here, try it out. It doesn't have a lot of external adjustments, but what it has works well, and it works out pretty well. I've got it so that it is, as you can see here with the sun hitting it, it's just at my shoulders. And then if you look down here, if I bring it up so that you can see where my feet are, it's just really just past my feet. So I'm not missing a lot of coverage there. It is a 3/4, it is a summer weight, it's 50 degree, and last night it worked pretty well. I don't recall having any cold spots. With it being a summer weight, even right now, I'm laying a little bit further back, and so with my shoulders off of here, it's almost 70 this morning already. But just the breeze kind of hitting back here where I'm off of the underquilt, I can feel the coolness on my shoulders, and it's almost 70. So to not have felt that last night was nice. I must have been on it, positioned a little bit better than I am right now. I've already gotten up, grabbed the camera stuff, and got all my coffee stuff so that it can go. But I think with my feet hanging over, even though I'm compressing the insulation of the top quilt, I think that the foot box of the top quilt is what's keeping my feet good. So last night in here, there was a lot of condensation on the tarp, as you can see right here. So there's definitely water droplets inside. And it's just because there was not a whole lot of movement of the air. And so, it just kind of, the dew and everything settled down there. But you can see on this side, with this lightweight Silpoly, as soon as the sun hits it, it is 100% dry over here. A little bit right here where the sun's just starting to shift and get it. It's a little bit wet there. If you spread that out, no problem. But it is completely dry and warm over in this section. So as soon as the sun hits this stuff, it really does dry out. And this tarp, for those of you who haven't seen it before, is the Underground Quilts Hex Hanger tarp. This one's in the Silpoly. It's a 1.1 material, and it's a nice material. I really like it. So I wanted to come out here this morning after laying out here, sleeping in this last night. I'm set up in porch mode right now so that we could do this. I've got a nice open view of the sun coming up and the nice dewy grass that I've got out here in the backyard. But I've got a lot of new stuff coming and a lot of new stuff here that I'm going to be doing some reviews on and giving you guys a look at over the upcoming months. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew what was coming up and you were able to stick around and check it out. So today we're taking a look at this Loco Libre. It's Loco Libre Gear Habanero Operator Series under quilt. So it is the 67 argon inside and out. It's 900 or 950. I'll have to check. Fill power down, but it is pretty bare bones. There aren't a whole lot of external adjustments on it like you'll find on some of the others. It doesn't have draft collars, but it is a 50-degree summer weight, so you really shouldn't need those types of things. I do have a 40-degree 3/4 length from Hammock Gear. It has draft collars, so if I get to a point where I need that, that's the one that I would take. But this one is going to be my summer lightweight, out there doing section hikes of the AT or going out and doing any quicker overnight type trips. Along with that, I talked about this already, but I traded the 1.6 half-wit for this 1.0 half-wit, and so that's going to shave a few ounces, 3 to 4 ounces off of my pack weight just right there. So I've always been a fan of the half-wit. I really liked my 1.6 half-wit, and I just think that this one, the feel, I like the feel of the fabric a little bit better, and I think that this one's going to just be that much lighter that it's one extra thing in there that I'm not worried about. Can I cut weight on it at all? Next, I talked about it in the loadout video from the Laurel Highlands hiking trail. I'd had some issues with my feet, and I had some Achilles tendonitis in my left foot, and I've had some other issues with my foot that have been bothering me for a while. I've tried taking up running several times, and I keep ending up with shin splints. So I talked with some physical therapists, some other people, some people that have been using other types of shoes, and now I am wearing these. And so these, I'm now just over, well, it was a week ago today that I purchased these. I've got 4 runs in on these, and these will probably become my primary hiking shoe as long as my feet can tolerate it. But these are the Merrell Trail Glove 3s. The 4s came out, so the 3s are on sale right now. So I was able to pick these up at a pretty decent price. But these are part of that whole barefoot movement, the barefoot technology. So really there's not a whole lot. I know it's a huge extreme from what I was using with those Hoka 1-1s that have, an inch of cushion, that are probably the softest, most cushioned shoes out there, to these which have no actual support. But they've got Vibram soles. They flex and feel really, really good on the foot. If you get them in the right size, they really are. I mean, they're called trail gloves, and they really do feel like gloves on my feet. They move really well. But to use these for something like running or trail running, you have to adopt the forefoot striking technique. So you can't heel strike because there's no cushion there. It immediately gives you that impact that's not what you should be doing. I've done it one time now where I heel struck and went, yep, nope, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I've been adjusting to the forefoot striking way of running. I've never been a big runner, but I've always wanted to do it more than I do. So this is the method I was trying to go to with that. And I have seen a couple of people use these out for their hiking shoes, their backpacking shoes. Nemor, if you go to Nemor's World, he's using them. He used them, and he was pumping out close to 30 miles a day out on the AT earlier this year. So I'm trying these out. I'll let you guys know what I think of those. Also, I've got another pack. This is a Zimmerbuilt pack. It's Cuben fiber. It's got the mesh back panel and side pockets. It is a beltless, so it has no waist belt, just shoulder straps. Haven't really had it out much. I've had it out for a short day hike, and it wasn't loaded down very heavy. Planning on get out on another day hike with a little bit more load in there, pack it up pretty good, and we'll get out there and try this thing out and see how I like it. It's about an ounce lighter than my Appalachian Ultralight. It is a little bit smaller as far as internal volume goes, but I'm looking forward to trying it out. You know, for those really, really lightweight, get out, do an overnighter, I think it could work out pretty well. And really, with the size of the waist strap that's on the Appalachian Ultralight, I'm not going to be missing much going to this. So it's worth a try, worth trying out and seeing how it works. I traded this. So this was another piece that I traded. I traded a mountain biking hydration pack for this one. So worked out well. So I traded for the hammock, traded for the backpack. I purchased the Loco Libre Gear Operator Series, both the top and under quilt. I purchased both of those. Both of them are working out really well. I purchased these new shoes, and you know, I've got this great tarp. You know, I've got a few different tarps, but I really love the color of this one. So I slept out here in my backyard last night. And I know a lot of people talk about having trouble sleeping in their backyards. A lot of people think it's psychological. It's the fact that there's a quick getaway right there. There's an escape. I can get back into the house, get into my bed. But I think the key to it is earplugs. The sounds, you know, if you sleep with your windows open, you may be used to it. But for me, coming out here, I was out here reading before I went to bed. I've got my Kindle down there, you can see. And the sounds, the sirens, the traffic, the people, you know, just the car alarms or cars being turned on and off, those types of sounds are enough to really keep you up because it's not something that you're usually used to. And so if you use some earplugs, it does away with all of that. And for me, it worked perfectly, and I had a great night. I don't actually remember waking up at all until this morning. And I had one earplug that had kind of slipped out a little bit, and the birds were just chirping away. And so that's what woke me up. But it was a really good night. You know, like I said, it was only low in the 60s, so this is a 50, this is a 50. Not a huge test of what I was using, but it definitely was enough. It took the chill out. I set it up yesterday for the first time, the underquilt, and had my son Justin come out here and help me with cinching down the ends to ensure that there were no air gaps. So with that, let's take a closer look at the underquilt. So this is the Loco Libre Gear Operator Series 50 Degree Habanero underquilt. Now we're going to walk around to this side so that I can show you guys the features of this underquilt. So it does come up, and it is attached with a little mini beaner, and it's just onto some shock cord. And you see there's no adjustments, no barrel locks on either side. It is just knotted onto the beaner. And if you walk down to the other side, it's exactly the same. Just the beaner and the shock cord. If you follow the shock cord down, let me get the hammock out of the way. You have a sewn channel, a grosgrain sewn channel that has no adjustments on it. You just simply slide the quilt along it to where you need the quilt to sit underneath you. Now the only place that it does have adjustments is for the ends. So if I come down here on this side where you can see it a little bit better, you've got shock cord with a barrel lock. on each side. And this thing is so minimal that, and this is the only part that I have any concern that it could be a problem. It's not a buttonhole sewn. It's not a sewn hole there. It's not a grommeted hole. It's just a hole poked through the grosgrain to pull your adjustment for the ends to cinch these up. But I think that once you get it cinched, it's there and you're not going to have a problem with it. So it's got a pretty good amount of loft for a 50-degree bag or underquilt. It's got a nice soft feel to it. Not that you're going to have this against your body. But if you have a problem where the underquilt is sagging too much on the long lines, what you can do is at the two ends where you have your carabiners, you can actually tie the knots a little bit tighter just to pull it up a little bit and cinch it up. But really minimal adjustments on there. You've got the two barrel locks on each end to cinch up the ends to keep any air gaps from going in there, and then it just slides along the lines and fits underneath you, which works pretty well and saves a little bit of weight there. So that's that. You know, as with anything that you see done by Loco Libre gear, the quality is flawless. You know, everything looks great on here. It performs the way that you would expect. And so far, I think for what I got it for and what I want it for, just those lightweight summer backpacking trips, this thing's gonna be perfect. And then if you look at the top quilt that I've got that goes along with it, you know, it is it's another killer piece of gear here. This thing, it is the Ghost Pepper, so it's got the baffles that are the chevron pattern. Again, it's tagged as a 50-degree operator series, but it's the 57 inside and out, or 67 Argon 67 inside and out. It just works. You know, it's one that I've talked about a couple of times already, and I really think it's great. So there you go, guys. I wanted to bring you guys out here, even though it's just my backyard. I am out here testing gear, am out making sure that what I have works for me and will work for me when I get out on the trail. That's the last place I want to know that something's not going to work for me. I'm going to continue to test out these shoes, these Merrell Trail Glove 3s. If you decide to get into the barefoot running or want to start using something like this to go out and hike, make sure that you start walking around barefoot, doing exercises that strengthen your feet, because your feet are not used to the type of strength and the type of movement that you get in a shoe like this that has virtually no support. It is simply a Vibram sole and a nice, supple, movable upper. It's mostly mesh. It breathes really well. Mine does have a protection around the toe box. Now it's not a super hard protection, but it is there and it is abrasion resistant, which makes it good for getting out and doing some hiking. I'm going to be testing out all this gear at some point out on the trail. Probably start out with some day hikes. I don't want to start, you know, if you get something like this as a shoe, you don't want to jump into 20-mile days. That'll ruin your day really quick. So I'm going to start out with some day hikes with a moderately loaded pack. It'll probably be this one, just so I can get out there and test it out. And really, I was thinking about maybe today getting out and hitting the trail. So if I do, I'll take you guys along and show you guys and talk to you about my impressions of it. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me this morning. If you're in the market for a bare bones, lightweight summer kit for your hammock, this Loco Libre gear operator series top and underquilt, man, it's a winner in my book. Yes, I have had the top quilt out on the trail. I have not had the underquilt on the trail yet, but based on what I what I gathered from last night, it's going to work out perfect for those hot summer nights when you just need something underneath you. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you guys down the trail. Thanks. Have a good one.